This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight now, we bring you a discussion on cabinet decisions. The participants are Shekhar Iyer, political analyst, and AIR special correspondent Mattu J.P. Singh.
In one of the landmark decisions today, Cabinet has approved amendment to the Essential Commodities Act, deregulating food items including pulses, onions and potatoes. Farmers can now finally sell at their own price and get good returns. And as rightly said, it is a demand which has been met after more than 50 years. What is your view on this?
Well, this is a part of that 20 lakh crore package that was announced by the finance minister. Today, cabinet approval has been given to this historic decision. As you mentioned, one is the amendment of the Essential Commodities Act, and the other is to bring in an ordinance to allow for barrier-free trade in agricultural produce. Both are very important decisions in the sense the pressure on the farmers, particularly regarding crop holdings, and the other is they can freely sell it to anybody they want. Now, these are two decisions that has been for a long time the demand of the farmers, demand of the agricultural trade. So, therefore, I think this is a very historic step. Particularly if you take the case of essential commodities, they have done away with the minimum stock requirement that was necessary for potatoes, onions, pulses, cereals, a whole lot of things. So that is now going away, and excepting for certain situations like a war situation or a famine situation or some conditions, even in that situation, they will take care of any commitment for export. Because what has normally happened is whenever the onion prices go up, there is a demand from the consumers that government should act. In those occasions, the government stops export. Then once the situation eases, the export is allowed. And we have also seen in the case of onion, sometimes the government imports it also. Now, the new idea is that onion farmers or any potato farmers or tomato farmers, we have seen these farmers often have a situation there is a glut in the market. On the basis of production and sale, they fix a target and increase the acreage to grow these crops. And once they grow these crops and there is a situation of glut, they are forced to waste these crops, which is a very kind of a distress situation. So the government wants to look into this problem by allowing the farmers, they can sell it to anyone. In fact, in today's briefing, we saw Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomarji was saying, anybody can come to the farmer's house, even purchasing from anywhere. There is no bar. The other point was given that there is too much of regulatory mechanism in sale of farm produce, which the government wants to do away with. Two things that emerged in Tomarji's briefing today was, one, even for the buying and purchasing, it is just necessary that both sides have just plain Aadhaar card because they want to do away with the Inspector Raj. Too much of regulation. So anybody who has an Aadhaar card can go and purchase from the farmer paying whatever is the prevailing market rate. So this will be covered by this ordinance which is coming. It is very important because essentially the idea is the APMC mechanism where they are forced to sell within a state to a particular market mechanism, that will remain. But over and above that mechanism, because that act is not being done away with, that act will remain. But along with that, they will have the freedom. Apart from the straight agricultural produce marketing situation, they can go for a barrier-free interstate and intrastate trade and commerce. Central government had provided a model for amendment of the APMC Act. Now, many states were not willing to do it. So, what the government is doing is, without touching the APMC Act, they are bringing in a new situation. Actually, the ordinance is called the Farming, Produce, Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation. Basically, allowing for a situation where, apart from what they sell to the government or to government agencies or to APMC, they can also do it whatever they want to others also. This is a very important thing, and basically it will unlock the vastly regulated agriculture markets.
Yes, as you just mentioned that Agriculture Minister rightly pointed out that the emphasis is on the all-round development of Gaon, Garib and Kisan, and focus is now on one nation, one market, and we are moving towards that.
Exactly, because the idea is also that farmers of different regions, wherever there is a surplus production, they are able to get better prices and they are able to sell to those places where the consumers facing shortage and lower prices. So this ordinance also proposes some way of an electronic trading and transaction platform. They don't have to physically go to another state to sell it. As you said, this is the beginning of one nation, one market, so one India, one agriculture market. So the government has been very clarified that this is creating additional trading opportunities outside the APMC so that they get remunerative prices due to additional competition. And it will certainly pave way for one India, one agriculture, and it will ensure for our farmers who are already working hard more incentives to produce more and better crop pattern. In this way, they can also get empowered to engage with processors, aggregators, wholesalers, large retailers and exporters, because they can come and do it. As of today, agriculture is seen as a very risky occupation, and about 80% of people, our population is dependent on that. So this whole idea is to empower the farmers with the necessary infrastructure that can also come, because once you're allowing free movement of grains, you will see a lot of capital investment will come in setting up trade houses, in setting up warehouses, cold storage. So a lot of things. Also that farmers get access to technology for high value agriculture.
In fact, when we talk about this free movement of grains, there is also the fact that they have put into a mechanism for dispute redressal, like payments. There was a procedure where the payment will be done tatkal or within 3 days, and then if there is some dispute, the farmer can go for redressal to the SDM. And if farmer is still not satisfied, then appeal can be made to the district collector. So in all this, farmer is central to the entire process.
Absolutely, because any problem you connect with our Gramin Bharat or rural India has a lot to do with this, the plight of our farmers. Since no longer agriculture is able to support enough hands for want of investment, for want of capital, we have seen this plight of farmers who go out. Essentially, this issue of migrant labor is also an issue of lack of livelihood in rural areas. So the government's idea is that agriculture must be reinvented in this country. Though there is a lot of talk, we need to shift more people from agriculture to manufacturing. Now, that is on one aspect. The other aspect is we also need to look at agriculture in terms of self-reliant India. Because the problem of, as I mentioned, migrant labor is a lot to do because once you have farming becoming more attractive, attracting more capital, more investment, and more jobs in terms of, whether it is warehouse management or it is actual tilling. When more hands are required, then people will no longer feel the need for even supported programs like Manrega, say in another 10 years. So the idea of the government is, if you have to go for Atmanirbharta, that is self-reliant, if you want to make the farmer stand on his own legs, you need to do two essential things. One, he must be able to freely sell his produce across the country. Two, whatever limitations came via the Essential Commodities Act, the time has come to do away with laws which are more inhibiting rather than encouraging. So the idea is to incentivize agriculture, incentivize agricultural operation, give more boost and empowerment to farmers, and also allow for what I would say is looking at agriculture not some kind of a poverty alleviating measure, but as an active consideration for more investment and for better production.
And to add to just what you have said, that government has been saying time and again that all decisions are for doubling of farmers' income by 2022. And for this Kisan Man Dhan Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana, Fasal Bima Yojana have all been implemented. So how are these schemes enhancing welfare of farmers?
You mentioned about the PM Kisan Yojana, where almost more than 9 crore farmer families have benefited, where their directly payment has gone. In this lockdown period itself, the government has managed to give more than 18,000 crores. Now, under the PM Fasal Bima Yojana, we have again seen government has processed more than 6,000 crores during this lockdown period. And these measures are series which have been taken. The other day we saw the cabinet decision on MSP, which has been taken into account the various suggestions of the Swaminathan committee report, where the farmers should get, not only they must get more than 1.5 times the cost of production. And in that cost of production, the labor cost must also be included, even if the family members of the farmers are involved. So this has been a very bold decision. And this time we saw almost more than 14 crops have been covered under this increased MSP. And along with that, they have also gone for what is called, we have seen the government announced as part of the stimulus package that there will be financing facility for some of the agri-infrastructures projects. And of course, the most important idea or a proposal that has come is the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, where we have seen to strengthen fisheries and take care of other animal husbandry activities, and even to encourage activities like honey keeping, beekeeping, or growing more horticulture, floriculture, and all these things have been given a boost. So that today we look at agriculture not just of growing food crops or cash crops. It is to cover all these areas which are closely linked to agriculture, though they are not just agriculture and they may be dependent on agriculture. So the government wants to look at it in a holistic way because that is the best way to double the farmer's income. We are coming to a situation where the credit will not be a problem, money will not be a problem, there will be encouragement for their involvement and feeling, not looking at agriculture as some kind of a helpless activity, but an activity which is empowering to them, which is economically successful with involvement of other sectors of economy.
Very well said. And now if we move to another decision, the Cabinet today approved setting up of empowered group of secretaries and project development cells in ministries and departments for attracting investments in the country. How will this bring synergies between ministries and departments and also between central and the state governments?
This particular decision, this empowered group is going to function under the Cabinet Secretary. And the very fact that it will be under the Cabinet Secretary and it will be directly monitored by the Prime Minister's office, because we have seen government has been trying to promote over the last 5 years about India as an attractive destination for investment. And in this process, the government's experience is a lot more coordination is needed so that we do away with more of this red tapeism, clearance proposal, because government has always been saying, even Niti Aayog has been proposing this one window clearance has to mean actually one window clearance, where by having an empowered group, major project investment proposals can be taken up, and then every ministry will have a project development cell. This is also very interesting because the whole idea is that Prime Minister has talked of a 5 trillion economy that should be achieved. Now, in order to achieve that kind of target, an empowered group of secretaries and this project development cell, they will bring, as you mentioned, a lot of synergy between ministries and departments, between central and state governments, and we have already seen what wonders the Pragati project did, where Prime Minister, Cabinet Secretary, PMO, they all sat together with the concerned secretaries at the center and the state government. So many projects which are pending for 20 years, 30 years could be cleared. So we know that Prime Minister's office already understands what kind of mechanism works in this country. And the idea is, sooner we are able to sort out issues connected with a project, sought to be brought in here with, say, foreign direct investment, then we can do other things that are needed, getting clearances, environmental clearances, or other clearances that may be necessary, along with the cooperation of the state government, because there is a huge potential that remains untapped in different states. If the Lakshya or the goal is becoming a $5 trillion economy by, say, 24-25, that is the time when Prime Minister feels we will have crossed the 75 years milestone. So they want to put in place an investment-friendly ecosystem. So that strongly supports not just the investor, but also the domestic investors.
Cabinet also approved of establishment of Pharmacopoeia Commission for Indian Medicine and Homeopathy as subordinate office under the Ministry of Ayush. How do you think this will help in optimizing the use of infrastructure facilities and technical and financial resources?
There is a huge potential in terms of Ayurveda as well as homeopathy. So what the government has done today, establishing Pharmacopoeia Commission for Indian Medicine and Homeopathy as a subordinate office under the Ministry of Ayush. The merger is aimed at optimizing the use of infrastructure facilities, technical manpower, and financial resources of these three organizations for enhancing the standardization outcome of Ayurveda, Siddha, and Unani and homeopathic drugs. This issue of standardization is very important because our Ayurveda and also other systems of medicine are looking at global market with a huge potential for export. So in order to do that, there need to be a broad standardization across these products, and they need some regulation and some quality control. This will be given a legal status. There has been consultation going on with the Director General of Health Services, Drugs Controller and Ayurveda and Siddha and the Technical Board. Now the idea is that these offices will function as a part of Ayush Ministry and will go forward in having a kind of an administrative structure that will see that there is no duplication or overlapping of drug standardization work and optimal utilization of resources in effective manner.
Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on cabinet decisions. The participants were Shekhar Iyer, political analyst, and AIR special correspondent Mattu JP Singh. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our website newsonair.com. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.